If the US economy is improving, then why are dozens of big box retailers closing thousands of stores? If we are in a legitimate economic recovery, then why have sales continued to plummet for retail outlets all around the country? It's certainly true that the expansion of online retailers, such as Amazon.com, has played a significant role. Today, millions of Americans prefer shopping online, and I'm guilty of it myself, doing a majority of my shopping on the web. But internet shopping cannot be the only thing to blame for major retail stores shutting their doors across America. Indeed, some experts have estimated that the internet is only responsible for about 20% of this retail apocalypse. Most of it can be blamed on the slow but certain death of the middle class here in the US. For the past 5 years, median household income has been in decline, but the cost of living keeps going up. That means that the typical American has less disposable income than they did at the beginning of the housing crisis, which has had a tremendous influence on our spending habits. Sadly, this is only the beginning. Many retail experts are predicting that the number of store closings will only accelerate over the next 10 years. So without wasting any more of your time, here are 20 startling facts about the retail apocalypse currently taking place in America. Fact 1. At this current moment, approximately 1 billion square feet of retail space is vacant in America. Fact 2. Last week, Radio Shack announced that it is planning to close over 1,000 stores. Fact 3. Last week, Staples announced that it is planning to close 225 stores. Fact 4. Office Depot sales have declined for 13 quarters in a row. Fact 5. JCPenney has been dying a slow and painful death for years, and they recently announced plans to close 33 additional stores. Fact 6. JCPenney lost $586 million in the second quarter of 2013. Fact 7. Sears has closed approximately 300 stores since 2010, and CNN has reported that Sears is expected to shut down another 500 Sears and Kmart locations soon. Fact 8. Sales have been in decline at Sears for 27 quarters in a row. Fact 9. Target has announced that it is cutting 475 jobs and that they refuse to fill 700 positions that are currently open. Fact 10. Projections indicate the clothing store Aéropostale will close around 175 stores over the next couple of years. Fact 11. Macy's plans on closing 5 stores and cutting 2,500 jobs. Fact 12. The Children's Place plans on closing 125 of its weakest stores by 2016. Fact 13. Best Buy just shut down approximately 50 stores in Canada. Fact 14. Blockbuster, a video rental chain, has just shut down all of their stores. Fact 15. It is predicted that US supermarket sales will decline by about 1.7% in 2014, even as the population continues to grow. Fact 16. McDonald's is reporting sales in the US were down 3.3% in January. Fact 17. American TV, a home appliance retailer in the Midwest, is shutting down all 11 of their stores. Fact 18. Even Walmart is getting hit by the retail apocalypse. One very prominent Walmart executive admitted that he is seeing economies under stress just about everywhere he operates. Fact 19. A recent CNBC article recommended that Walmart should close 100 underperforming stores in rural locations across the US. Fact 20. Retail consultant Howard Davidovitz is predicting that up to half of all shopping malls in the US may shut down within the next 15 to 20 years. So is there any hope that we can turn the tide in the opposite direction? Well, If the US economy started producing more good-paying middle-class jobs, that would definitely be a step in the right direction. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Recently, we were told that the US economy added a measly 175,000 jobs in February. That might sound great, but once you realize that it takes twice the number of jobs just to keep up with population growth, we quickly realize how pathetic that number really is. According to CNS News, the number of unemployed Americans grew faster than the number of employed Americans in February. And, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the number of unemployed individuals 16 years and older increased by 223,000. To top it all off, the labor force participation rate is currently at a 35-year low, and 70% of all Americans not participating in the labor force are less than 55 years old. And when we take a look at the male labor force participation rate, things only get worse. In 1950, the labor force participation rate for men was 87%, and today that number stands at approximately 69%. The sad reality is that there are simply not enough middle-class jobs to sustain legitimate economic growth. If the US economy was supposed to have recovered, we should have had a recovery by now. Since there are not enough jobs, what is happening is that highly educated workers are taking over service sector jobs that were once occupied by less educated workers and adolescents. Many more jobs are being outsourced to countries like China, and the middle class has been steadily shrinking for quite some time now. In 2008, 53% of Americans considered themselves to be middle class, and today only 44% of Americans consider themselves to be middle class. This is an alarming drop in only 6 years, and it's only going to get worse. Despite what the so-called financial experts and mainstream media keep telling us, the reality is that the US economy is collapsing, and is not headed towards recovery. On a gut level, many Americans would agree with this. According to a recent survey, just 35% of Americans say they are better off financially than they were 1 year ago. And, according to a recent NBC News Wall Street Journal poll, just 28% of Americans believe America is going in the right direction. The truth is that this is about as good as things are going to get. The final wave of the economic collapse is upon us, and when it hits it will wipe out most of the middle class.